legions the barbarians, standing at the gates, the legions shattered, emperors poisoned in their marble palaces. But the truth is this: the collapse of empires is not only caused by attacks from outside. Decay usually starts from within. And the thing that accelerates that decay the most is, more often than not, money. Yes, wars and corruption played their part in Rome's downfall, but the real blow came from the economy, because Rome's money collapsed. And the lessons from that collapse are still valid in today's global system. Governments thinking they can play little games with money without facing consequences. That was Rome's biggest mistake too. Now let's go back to the beginning. For centuries, Rome's monetary system was based on the silver denarius. First minted around 200 BC, the denarius was almost pure silver. Soldiers were paid with it, and merchants accepted no other form of payment. In short, the denarius wasn't just a coin, it was trust in Rome itself. But running a massive empire isn't cheap. Soldiers, roads, wars, taxes. Costs kept piling up. When tax revenues were no longer enough, emperors decided to try an old but bad solution: devaluing the currency. They kept minting denarii, but they reduced the amount of silver inside them. At first no one noticed, but as time passed the coins became lighter, more yellowish, and visibly different. And of course, you can probably guess the result: inflation. What once could be bought with a single denarius now cost dozens. The people couldn't take it anymore. They revolted. Soldiers began demanding higher pay. Merchants stopped accepting the coins, and some even went back to bartering. In other words, no one believed in money anymore. While Rome's economy was collapsing from within, the emperors tried to fix it by printing even more money. They thought, the more money we print, the better. But as you can imagine, the opposite happened. The classic cycle repeated itself. Value drops, prices rise, trust disappears. By the 3rd century, things had completely spiraled out of control. For half a century, Rome went through one crisis after another: civil wars, plagues, invasions, coups. Emperors were dying within months. Taxes were collected in devalued money. Farmers abandoned their lands. Trade vanished, and the system collapsed. Then came an emperor named Diocletian who said, "Enough is enough." He tried to stop the chaos by introducing the edict on maximum prices, a law that fixed the prices of everything: bread, grain, wages. But it didn't work. Because if the money itself has no value, what can you peg prices to? The black market exploded and trade came to a halt. Eventually, Rome completely abandoned the denarius. Emperor Constantine the Great minted a new coin, the solidus, made of pure gold. It worked for a while, but the Western Roman economy had already gone bankrupt. When money lost its value and substance, so did the empire. So, what does this mean for us today? It means this: if the monetary system collapses, the entire system collapses. Rome thought it could fool its people by issuing coins that looked the same but were worth less. Modern governments are doing the same, only now they use printing presses instead of metal. They manipulate interest rates and try to erase debt. But the outcome doesn't change. The people lose, and trust disappears. Rome learned this lesson the hard way, and if we forget it, we'll repeat the same mistake. History has repeated itself countless times. Governments devalue money to cover their costs. The wealthy protect themselves with real assets, and ordinary people suffer the most. Rome was just the beginning. Then came Weimar Germany. In 1923, a simple loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. People carried their salaries in wheelbarrows. Then came Zimbabwe. In 2008, prices doubled almost daily. In every case, the pattern was the same. The currency collapsed, trust vanished, and the people were devastated. And now, the modern world is walking the same path. In 1971, the United States unlinked the dollar from gold. That meant money became entirely faith-based. From that day on, debt exploded, the money supply surged, and prices never stopped rising. Today, the purchasing power of one 1971 dollar equals about $6. The paper looks the same, the design is the same, but the value is gone. Governments call this growth, but in reality it's a slow, silent tax through inflation, taking back what you think you've earned. And what's different today is this. This time it's not just one country. It's the entire world. Fiat currencies, unimaginable debt, central banks printing limitless money. When the system finally breaks, the impact won't just be local, it'll be global. That's why, on a personal level, we must understand this. Inflation isn't a mistake, it's a policy. True wealth lies in things that keep their value: land, skills, production, and resources. And never assume that stability will last forever. The Romans of the 1st century never believed their money could collapse. The Germans of 1913 never imagined they'd carry wages in wheelbarrows. The Zimbabweans of the 1980s never thought their money would turn into waste paper. But all of them lived it. When money loses its reality, society dissolves. Trade slows down, trust fades, and states crumble. The barbarians at the gate, they only deliver the final blow. The real destruction starts inside the treasury itself, and here's the essence of it all. History never repeats itself exactly, but if you fail to understand it, it will crush you just the same.